Maina, today we are living in extremely challenging times. 2 years COVID, geopolitics, inflation, economy. What do you say to CEOs who tell you, sorry, but purpose is not my priority today?
First of all, I can only but empathize with CEOs and business leaders because we are indeed facing extremely challenging times. But I would say that there are both a short and a long answer to that question. The short answer is that basically it's history in the making, and we have arrived at an inflection point of responsibility, an inflection point of awareness and consciousness about action to take to actually put purpose at the very core of everything business does. One must realize that we have started the 2020 decade with 40% of the top 100 economies worldwide who are actually corporations. And at the other end of the spectrum, more than 100 countries lag behind those 500 companies. So that puts the business community as a whole before its own responsibility as a very active player and very active vehicle of transformation for the greater good and society as a whole. But even for companies who are not part of those 500 companies, the reality is that they belong to the vast majority of the corporation and the economic agents, and that only but strengthens the sense of responsibility of business today. The longer answer to that question actually comes down to what I would call stakeholder pressure management. And basically there are 5 questions CEOs need to ask themselves even in those very critical times. The first 3 relates to what I call the triple pressure of meaning. So first, clients today, customers want to consume meaning beyond product and services. And that means that the question for CEOs here is that, do you want to attract customers who aspire to have a societal bond with the firms they buy from beyond the emotional bond with the brand they have built? The second dimension is actually on the talent side. And today, employees aspire to work for meaning beyond tangible rewards. And here the question for CEOs is whether you really want to keep inspiring your talents to give them an opportunity to align with a purpose that strongly believe in, but not only for your current talent, but also for your prospective talent. How do you aspire to attract the talent that will help your firm position for the future? And then on the third aspect of the pressure of meaning is on the investment side. Today, investors want to invest beyond the strictly financial ROI. And what narratives do you want to convey to investors to convince them that your firm is a very sound and purposeful vehicle of investment? So those are the very 3 first questions CEOs need to ask. But then there are 2 questions on top of that. If you look down at the competition, the rise of the purpose economy or the purpose-driven era has given birth or to the emergence of purpose-driven market segment. And here the question is really critical. Do you aspire to actually tap into those market opportunities, or do you prefer your competitors to actually benefit and reap the reward of addressing the needs of these newly emerging market segments? And then the final question CEOs need to ask themselves revolves around regulations. In 2021, there was a consortium, a joint initiative between the World Economic Forum, the largest accounting firms, and the International Business Council, who came up with global reporting initiatives aimed at designing a framework of reporting for companies. And the very first criteria to assess whether companies are in line or not with the broader idea of stakeholder capitalism was actually to know whether or not firms did have a purpose and whether it was actively implemented. So these 5 questions are burning questions for CEOs, and even though we are in critical times, these questions won't remain, and they will strengthen over time. So I really profoundly believe that there's a major opportunity for business leaders to think about purpose as a priority in the light of those 5 questions.